When Game of Thrones ended, Westeros crowned a new ruler, Bran the Broken. A boy who had once fallen from a tower, traveled through visions and time, and emerged as something more than human, something omniscient. And far away in the frozen north, Jon Snow, the man who gave everything to save the realm, was sent into exile, his destiny shattered by the very man who now sat on the throne. But as rumors swirl around Kit Harington's upcoming Jon Snow spin-off series, simply titled Snow, one question has started spreading like wildfire among fans. What if Bran the Broken isn't the benevolent ruler we think he is? What if the three-eyed raven still has secrets? And what if, in the spin-off, Bran betrays Jon Snow again? Stay with me, because in this deep dive, we'll explore how Bran's eerie transformation, his mysterious control of events, and his unsettling rule could all lead to a shocking betrayal of the one man who still represents the heart of Westeros, Jon Snow. This is, Here's Why Bran the Broken Could Betray Jon Snow in the spin-off, and how it could change everything. Let's begin with a truth that Game of Thrones never fully explained. What exactly is Bran Stark now? By the end of the show, Bran had stopped being the boy from Winterfell. He barely spoke, showed little emotion, and seemed disconnected from humanity itself. He wasn't Bran Stark anymore. He was the three-eyed raven, an entity that could see everything, past, present, and future. But here's where it gets interesting. Bran always claimed he couldn't interfere. He was simply an observer of time, a witness to history. Yet, we know that wasn't true. Bran interfered many times. He warged into Hodor in the past, causing the event that destroyed Hodor's mind, a paradox Bran himself created. He influenced the past when he whispered to his father, Ned Stark, during his Tower of Joy vision. He even knew Jon's parentage long before anyone else and deliberately waited to reveal it, at the moment when it would cause the most political chaos. Bran didn't just see the future. He chose when to act. And that's where the danger lies. When Bran became king, Tyrion justified it by saying, "Who has a better story than Bran the Broken?" But let's be honest, that reasoning never made sense. Bran didn't want anything. He didn't feel anything, or so he claimed. But maybe that's the problem. A ruler without emotion, without empathy, without personal attachment, that's not a king. That's something else, something colder. And if Snow explores Jon's life beyond the wall, there's every reason to believe Bran will re-enter his story. Because in the Game of Thrones universe, destiny has a way of circling back. And Jon's exile may not be as simple as it looks. Think about it. Jon didn't just leave. He was sent away. And the man who ultimately made that decision was Bran. Jon's punishment for killing Daenerys wasn't just exile, it was containment. Removing him from the realm. Keeping the last living Targaryen, a true heir, far from Westeros. If Bran could see everything, he must have known what he was doing. He must have seen what Jon could become. And that's where betrayal begins. Now let's look at motive. Why would Bran betray Jon Snow? Well, the answer may lie in fear. Jon's existence is a threat, not politically, but cosmically. As a Targaryen Stark hybrid, Jon carries both fire and ice within him. He represents the balance of the world, the literal song of ice and fire. And Bran, as the three-eyed raven, knows the deeper truth of that balance. If Jon's destiny wasn't fulfilled yet, if he still has a greater purpose, Bran might see that as a risk. Because if Jon truly realizes his power, he could challenge not just Bran's rule, but the entire cosmic balance that Bran now embodies. Bran's kingdom may not just be the Seven Kingdoms. It may be the timeline itself. And Jon's presence could disrupt it. In Snow, Jon's journey beyond the wall could start peacefully. He's rebuilding, living among the free folk, trying to find purpose. Ghost is by his side, and the past feels far away. But then, something begins to stir. Maybe visions, maybe dreams. Jon starts seeing things, fragments of the past, flashes of the future, strange whispers carried by the wind. At first, he thinks it's the lingering magic of the north, or maybe the memory of Bran reaching out to him. But then the visions grow stronger. He sees the red keep burning again. He sees Daenerys' face, and a shadow of a dragon flying over frozen land. He sees Bran, sitting on his throne, eyes glowing white, speaking to someone unseen. Jon begins to suspect that Bran isn't just watching him. He's controlling what he sees. And maybe, controlling him. This brings us to a crucial question: how far does Bran's power actually reach? In Game of Thrones, Bran could warg into ravens, wolves, and even humans. But the show never defined his limits. What if, as king, his reach expanded? What if he can project his will across vast distances, even into the frozen wilds beyond the wall? Some fans believe Bran never stopped warging, he simply shifted from direct action to influence. What if Bran can manipulate events through visions, guiding, or misleading, people to serve his grand design? Imagine Jon realizing that his peace beyond the wall is an illusion. That every path he's walked since his exile was planned by Bran. That the free folks' movements, the threats they face, even the dreams that haunt him, were orchestrated to keep him contained. The ultimate betrayal wouldn't be Bran's silence, it would be his control. But why would Bran need control? Because perhaps he knows something Jon doesn't. What if Bran has seen a new prophecy? A new cycle of danger rising from the north, something older than the White Walkers themselves. And what if Bran believes Jon is connected to that danger? In that case, Bran's betrayal could come from a twisted sense of duty, not malice. He might see Jon as a necessary sacrifice to prevent another cataclysm. Maybe Bran foresees that Jon's bloodline, or his Targaryen nature, could awaken an ancient force tied to fire magic, something that could destroy what's left of the world. In his mind, betraying Jon isn't cruelty, it's preservation. He's not doing it to win. He's doing it to maintain balance. But the real tragedy, Jon would never understand it that way. Now, let's talk symbolism. Bran represents knowledge without emotion. Jon represents morality without ambition. They're two sides of the same coin. One sees everything but feels nothing. The other feels deeply but refuses to act selfishly. And that's why their conflict would be so powerful in Snow. Because for the first time, Jon would have to face the possibility that his own brother, the last living Stark he once trusted, has become something inhuman. Something beyond the brotherhood of man. Bran's betrayal wouldn't come with armies or assassins. It would come through silence. Through visions. Through manipulation of fate itself. Imagine a scene where Jon finally returns to the ruins of an old castle, perhaps the last outpost of the Night's Watch, and he finds a raven waiting for him, with eyes that glow white. It speaks in Bran's voice. "Go back, Jon. You don't belong here anymore." That's not just betrayal. That's erasure. A brother erasing his brother from the world he once fought to save. Let's not forget, Bran's ascension to the throne was never earned through compassion or battle. It was predestined. He knew it was coming. When Tyrion asked him, "Will you rule?" Bran's answer, "Why do you think I came all this way?" sent chills down viewers' spines. It was a moment that hinted at something darker: calculation, foresight, intent. If Bran knew everything that would happen, that means he allowed chaos to unfold. He let Daenerys burn King's Landing. He let Jon kill her. He let thousands die, all because he knew the outcome would place him on the throne. So why should we believe he'll stop there? In Snow, that same cold logic could drive him to see Jon's very existence as a loose thread, one that needs to be cut.